Praise the Lord. Praise Jesus, Yeshua. But I tell you, the blues and the fent is crazy. So I live downtown, right? And it's like there's a Max stop that's like a block from Union Station, like where all the trains run, like Amtrak and stuff. And that whole strip from Union Station to the Max is just full of the new junkies, right? And I'm convinced, like I'm all the way convinced that the government wants that to happen because I just seen a dude get into a tent and I guess there was already somebody in there. But you got two guys selling blues out of a tent, and they can just openly do it. And what boggles my mind, right? Like it really like throws me for a loop is the people that are selling these pills. They're not even making no money. Like, dude brought like $6 and got a bag with some pills in it. Even if that was one pill, right? That's $6 a pill. That's not no money. Like even being homeless, like that's not no money. And yeah, you're talking about selling X amount a day, but that's still not. You might make enough money to get a room for the night. Like that's like barely eating. Like you're not eating good, and then I mean, the conditions that you're living in, like yeah, it's not worth it. Like if I even if like say I was making 100,000, right? Like going and working and all that, but I had to sleep in a tent. I'm still not doing that. Like even though I had the money to replace, but you had to live in a tent. I'm not doing that. I am not sleeping in a tent, and I don't care how much money I'm making. I'm not doing it. So that's why I'm convinced that the government, right, is allowing these things to happen just for our communities to be destroyed because nobody's making that much money off the pills because I mean I don't know. I guess because I mean there was like I know a couple people that would go get them from like Arizona and depending on how many they buy, you know what I'm saying? But these guys are buying thousands and thousands of pills, which is crazy, but they're buying thousands of them, like tens and twenties of thousands of them. Now, this is also like 6 years ago, like 7 years ago, back when I was still on drugs. But if you're not doing at least 10, bro, what is the point? And that don't even make sense. And nobody's really gonna spend that money because everybody know that the blues are fake. But why would you even get into that? And how come that if you're not a drug addict, and that's what I think too. If you're not a drug addict, and people can tell that you're a drug addict, like that's you got the snot nose and whatnot. If you get caught with any form of fent or anything like that, you should go to jail, bro. For a long time. Call me, you know what I'm saying? Call me whatever you want. I'll be that.
The
But
doors are closing. Train departing. Please hold on.
for how much it
Green
is
line
killing
train. The
people
doors are closing. Train departing.
and
Please hold on.
all those things, that's crazy, bro. And people get caught. Oh man, tripping.
Oregon Convention Center. Doors to the right.
Sorry, Will. Mrs. Calls. Uh, but yeah, anybody that gets caught, I don't understand that too. Is how it can be open drug use everywhere in Portland.
Southbound Green Line train to Clackamas
But
Town
then
Center.
they want to,
Línea verde en dirección este hacia
I don't see
Clackamas Town
how the
Center.
drug use can be just out in the open. And I don't see how. Sorry, I'm getting messages. How how the open drug use and the drug addicts and everything else is ramping up.
The doors are closing. Train
And
departing.
no
Please
matter how
hold
you
on.
look at it, when there's drugs that are just flooded in the street, that means the criminal element is more because there's more money. Even though it goes through so many hands, that means the money is still there. So we have open drug use and all these other things, but yet you guys try to put restrictions on the guns. That doesn't make sense. I mean, I understand like being scared of like school shootings and you know all those other things, but when you also look at these people that do these mass shootings and stuff like that, I'm probably gonna get flagged for this, but that's fine. But when you look at all these mass, things, the massacres, all these people are all deranged people. Like they all have history of antidepressants and
Eastbound Green Line train to
a lack of
Clackamas Town
purpose and all
Center.
these other things.
Línea verde en dirección este hacia
And then
Clackamas
they're
Town
attacking
Center.
soft targets because I mean, personally,
The doors are closing. Train
I feel
departing.
like our schools
Please
should,
hold on.
you know, they should do something a lot different. But 'cause I feel like every school should have some form of security that will put everything on the line. And yes, there is a firearm in the school locked up in a safe. Yes, I believe every school needs one or two of those in the building at all times. But that's just me. I believe in protecting our kids.
East 11th Avenue. Doors
But
to the right.
our kids have to walk through junkies and all these other things, and that's fine. But yet you want to take the guns. And I just bought 5 magazines from the area armor mags. Who? But I bought 5 mags from this place online, right? And I've probably spent
Eastbound
probably
Green
three
Line
thousand with
train
them
to
over
Clackamas
over
Town
the years.
Center. Línea verde en dirección
Not too
este
much,
hacia
not nothing
Clackamas Town
crazy.
Center.
But when and these are mags that I do not use. Like I don't use them. Never really heard of them. No reviews on them, none of that. And these are just training mags. So inside they sent a sticker with it that said basically that the magazines that were sold can't be given or sold to X, Y, Z, blah blah blah. But it is basically those magazines are tracked. You can't track a
The doors
magazine
are closing. Train departing.
once I
Please
have
hold
them.
on.
You know. Now, for any reason you like, come to my residence and look for them or whatever. There's there's no reason for that, and I think that's what a big issue is with registry. I think that's why that's such a big issue because they already know I have ARs, but now you're tracking that I have magazines. That's weird to me. And I was talking to a coworker about it, and she was like, maybe because it's how many you bought. And I was like, okay, well, even if that was the case, how many I bought? I only bought five. I bought five because it was $4. They were $4 a pop. Those aren't magazines that I'm gonna trust. I'm not gonna trust my life with them. Those are training mags that I expect not to really run good. So I use P mags and steel mags. I don't like aluminum mags. I'll take the extra weight because I don't like aluminum mags. I don't like the way they feel. And I mean, with a steel mag, I can throw them at somebody. Worst comes to worst, or hit them in the eye with it. But I mean, yeah, I only see the crumbling of society, especially America, because how is it that drugs are allowed like that? Like the open drug use everywhere, and it's like people can just do hand to hands out of their tent, like uh, that's really hard to understand. And it was the crazier part is even if I were to call the police, they wouldn't do anything. That's crazy. Let me call the police and say somebody got a gun, they're coming instantly. It's wild work. But I mean, it is what it is. It's the ugly world. Yeah, the drugs are getting so bad. Like, and this is why I want to leave because people don't understand that it's only getting worse and worse. The cops only pull over who they want to pull over. And what I've really noticed too in the last 3 years is they only respond to guns. That's it. Because it's not even that they respond to guns. It's just it has to be used, and I don't know if that's just to get the guns off the street, or if it's something else. But I remember I went down to my job to do something like some years back, and there was this crazy guy, and kind of just being crazy. But he was like trying to shake my hand and stuff, and I'm like, nah, bro, I'm good. And like he just got like beyond aggressive, like putting his hands up. Oh, I'll put these on you, blah blah. And I'm like, oh yeah, dude's crazy. So I'm walking behind the car, and he's walking in the front of the car. And I'm backing up. I'm in the middle of the street because we're next to two apartment buildings, right? So, and I got in the middle of the street, so both apartments can see me. And dude was like tripping out, and I'm like, yeah, bro, like I'm good, like beat it. And dude's, just still aggressive. So I lifted up my shirt, and I put my hand on my weapon, right? And I'm like, yo, like back up, like chill. And I've never, and this is why like spiritual stuff is like really a thing. We do not fight against flesh and blood, but principalities and all the other good stuff. bad stuff. But when I tell you that the man stopped walking and looked down at my firearm, looked at me, and did it, he did it two more times. Homeboy said, "I'm gonna make you shoot me," and ran at me. So I just backpedaled, you know, and he stopped running, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? And he stops running. He's like, "Yeah, that's what I thought." Blah blah blah, and turns around. So I stopped walking because I have to go that way, and I was just gonna wait. He turns around again and starts running at me, and he said, "I'm gonna make you shoot me." And so I'm like, "Oh, bro," like, I do the same thing, and I just hit him with, "What the f is wrong with you? Like, I don't want to do that to you." And he was like, "Oh yeah, you ain't got it in you, blah 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 blah." And it's like, the thing is though, you don't know who you're talking to. You don't know who you're dealing with. That's the scary part. That's why I respect everybody, because like, yeah, that's right. I don't have it in me. I don't. Because see, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna take your life, and then I'm gonna have to explain why didn't I run away? Because if I could backpedal away from you, that means I have the capability of turning around and running from you. So if I kill you, that means I have to explain that. And that's another thing. Like, you don't know who you're talking about. You don't know who you're talking to. That's the crazy thing about life. That's the humbling part about life. 'Cause, yeah, a lot of people. Yeah, I just look like a normal guy. Yeah, I mean, not that long ago, back in 2011. Yeah, I killed a dude. Granted, that's not something I say or whatever, but um, it's for sure humbling. It's not nothing. It's not nothing to brag about. But it's like that showed me a lot in just that circumstance, because people are so quick to throw their life away, and it's like there is no honor in none of that, because there's you get no honor for that, no matter what walk of life you're in. I mean, unless you're like actually in a war, and I mean actually a war. Like, that's why I kind of feel conflicted with our army. Now, I would never speak bad on a man that served our nation. But me, I don't really know what's going on, and I know that we go a lot of places. That's all I'm saying. We go a lot of places. I don't want to fight, another person's word, where they say it's ours, and we truly don't know. Now, if I, see some, what I'm saying, some weird stuff going on in my street, and things start blowing up and stuff like that, yeah, I mean, it's time to get down. But that's what we're supposed to do, and that's what makes me feel like that I'm gonna get flagged again. They gonna yank my stuff. But that's why I feel like the government is allowing these things to happen to make our country weak. And we have drugs, right? Okay, so we have drugs. We had the jab. We got all the food with all the sugar in it. We got the man's testosterone level down here. You know, we're all overweight. And then there's the ideas of, well, one is a whole bunch of broken households. There's that. There's a bunch of identity crises everywhere. It's a lack of God. That's another thing. That's the biggest part. There's a lack of the Lord. But I mean, What can you do besides pray?
Transfer to blue and red line
And,
train.
people
Left
think
turn
just
to
living right
Exit Avenida
is, a big
Boulevard.
long ticket. But I promise you, it's not. Yeah, good works will not get you to heaven. It won't. That's what a lot of people be thinking. I heard a crazy idea. And this girl was saying, well, if you kill yourself and you're in hell, if you cry out to God, he'll pull you out of hell. No, that's not what's gonna happen. My brother killed himself. I know my brother going to hell. It is what it is. Um, but I mean, this life isn't for us to waste like that. And I mean, I never thought about that, but I mean, I didn't think about it really until this weekend. Like I was suicidal for years, and I mean, I wasn't suicidal like I would take my own life, but I was suicidal as in I didn't care if my life was taken. That's how I live, and this is the same way. But again, that's the self hatred and all those other things. And then
The doors are closing. Train departing.
back when I
Please
got in
hold on.
trouble uh, with all that shame and guilt from killing dude, it was a lot of shame and it was a lot of guilt because I didn't know the Lord. I didn't know nothing, and that's why we lose is because of lack of knowledge. Uh, yeah, because I was one, I was ashamed of the thing that I did. I was ashamed of the thing that I did, and oh well, you took a life, you can't go to heaven. There's no way you can go to heaven. Blah blah blah. And I just fed into that lie uh, that the devil was feeding me, and I fell for that for years, and just never turned to him. But I mean, the beautiful thing is once you actually start to know the Lord and start to read and gain knowledge, He forgives us for all sins, and especially when you repent for them and mean them with your whole heart. Yeah, that's the thing. Uh, yeah, shame and guilt, man. That is a big thing that will keep people away from the Lord. And He heals all things. Like, yeah. When I tell you, I was a very angry, violent person. Yeah, I was that. But I tell you, once I got in trouble and all that was just kind of on the table, I was like, man, it done finally caught up to me. I'm finna go to jail forever. Praise the Lord. But it kept me out of captivity. He let me. But I mean, I was already kind of like done for the most part with all that on the extreme. But I mean, all you gotta do is kind of confess your sins, and then this is another thing too. Cause I started reading like in the beginning, and when you look at Moses and the children of Israel and all that, and once they got to around the promised land and they were just walking through the wilderness, right? Moses and Israel, they were killing everything. They were killing everything. And it wasn't like they were just out there killing. No, the Lord told them to kill them because they're heathens. And back then they, well, we still got to hear it, but like Baal and what's the other one? Asheroth. I want to say that's the name. Could be off, but
The
yeah,
doors are closing. Train departing.
it's a
Please
constant
hold on.
it's a constant something that's besides God. There's always other things besides God. That's the things of this world, and that's why they're little G's. They're not the big G. And then when you look at David and David's life, David killed thousands of people. So if David was favored, right? When David was favored by the Lord, I'm alright. Cause yeah.